Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Green again. This is another installment of my pre-cal recording. So I appreciate you all being here and listening to this. Okay, I know it's your valuable time. Just a reminder: we've got 28 days until the assignments close and lock up. So you need to make certain you get them done well in advance of that time frame. You don't want to get stuck getting a zero on something, and having it stick with your grade all the time. Okay. Here we are in the course again. We're into topic 1.2, which is dealing with graphing functions. Now, the biggest thing in this one is it talks not only about that vertical line test that we used last time to determine if it was a function, but it talks about being a one-to-one function. What does the one-to-one give you? Well, we don't really go into that a whole lot in this particular course, but what you need to know is that there's certain attributes of one-to-one that we think are important in math, and it will become important. Okay, so what we're doing is we're making a horizontal line test that we do to figure out if something is one-to-one. So I would draw a line across it horizontally to see if a function is one-to-one rather than vertically to see if it is a function. So first of all, you test to see if it's a function, then you test to see if it is a one-to-one function. Okay. Now, what I want to do right now is to skip this ahead just a little bit because it spends a great amount of time talking about functions and the vertical line test and things like that. And we'll get past those and the horizontal line test. Okay, so there's the vertical line test I was talking about. And one-to-one functions, it talks about them, and it has a little test here. See if you can determine, can you spot a one-to-one function? Well, you know what? Let me look at these real quickly. I see a circle here, and doing a vertical line test on a circle is not a function, so I'm going to draw that one in real quickly. This is a linear line, so I know that one is a function, and it is a one-to-one function. And this one over here is a not one-to-one, so I'm going to be able to draw the line that way. Now, what you noticed in that sine function that was there, go back to it, the sine function that's right here, if I draw a horizontal line going across here, I hit more than one. That's how come I knew that one was not a one-to-one function. Going forward, it starts talking about piecewise functions. Now, I know in algebra we talked about algebra 1, we talked about piecewise functions, but piecewise functions are one of those things where you see rarely, but they do occur. If you're in the 10th grade right now, you're talking about driving. In
We
the
can see
11th
that
graders,
when
we're
we
talking
look at the
about
graph,
driving.
this is an example. To
So
graph this function, let's
just
do
moving
another
forward
example.
here. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on,
We
come on,
start
come
by
on, come on, come on,
graphing
come on, come
y
on.
equals 4.
I don't want to hear you. Thank you. I want to move forward. Hit the wrong button. Speeding tickets are a perfect example of a one-to-one function.
Suppose
Why
the
do I
speed
say
limit is
that?
6.
You see how they put this together? If you were going 85 to 75, here's your uh, here's the amount of ticket that you would pay. If you were going between 85 and 175, then your ticket price would be this amount. If you're going between 125 and 85, then your ticket price would be in here. They give you a piecewise function. It's not a continuous function. It is spread out over lots of different values like that. Okay? And so you can see how they're kind of graphing this. I want to point out to you, it is using inequalities in here, and both inequalities and inequalities with equal signs on them. Remember the difference in graphing? If it's an less than or greater than, it's an open circle. If it's a greater than or equal to, it's a solid circle. So looking at this, if I were going between 60 miles an hour and 75 miles an hour, my ticket price would be $80. Okay? If I were going between 75 miles per hour and 90 miles an hour, it looks like, yeah, possibly, I would be paying $100. If I were going over 90 miles an hour, my ticket price is going to be $120. That's the way piecewise functions work, and you're going to run into examples of that in the world. Now, typically, what we call those type of functions are just piecewise functions, but there's a specific example called a greatest integer function that is talked about in this chapter, and you need to know how to work. Greatest integer says that no matter what decimal number I give you, I'm going to back up to the previous integer. So if I give you 7.6, I'm going to back up to 7. That's going to be the integer. That was the greatest integer that that 7.6 related to. And if I had a value of negative 3.2, I would back up to the previous integer, negative 4, and that would be my greatest integer that is in that function. Let's see here. There's a good slide here showing you how this is
What about next?
graphed.
What does the graph of the greatest integer
Look like is what it's saying there. And what you see when you graph out all of them, you'll see these little lines like this, because if it is between 0 and 1, you're going to back up to 0. That means it gets a solid line there. And 1 gets an open line, because if it's anywhere approaching 1, it gets that open line. And there will be a line, a horizontal line going like this. Can you see how this is a piecewise function, right? That's the type of function that you're going to be looking at in this particular checkup and quiz. Not only are you going to have to do the horizontal or the vertical line test, but the horizontal line test, and you're going to be looking at piecewise functions. I hope this explains this very well. If you have questions, make certain you contact me, because I do want to hear from you if you're having any issues. Make certain you give me your course name and what section number you're in so that I know how to get hold of you. And I will talk to you